Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Denver, Colorado. Today, super fun one. It's always a super fun one, but definitely something more specific to Colorado with all the influx that we have. But first time home buyers, new build, pre-existing, and before you say let's go, if you're not a first time home buyer, it's okay. This is still super important for you moving to Colorado. Existing home, new build, what does it look like?
Let's go, guys. All right, guys, welcome to the Living in Denver, Colorado YouTube channel, the real Living in Denver, Colorado YouTube channel.
Don't get started.
I know, don't get us started.
Bunch of copycats out there. We see you.
There is only one Eli Schmidt. There's only one Will Grimes. And if it's your first time visiting this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, guys, because we come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and we tell you everything there is to know about either moving to or living in the Denver, Colorado area.
100%. And we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with your real estate needs. So that number and that email that are popping up below, we are the guys who answer the calls. We are the guys who text message back. We are the guys who answer your super awesome, elongated, grammatically correct emails for all the help that you guys might need. But with that being said, specific to first-time home buyers, because some of these details you guys might just not know, but in addition to first-time home buyers, just overall new builds, pre-existing homes, what does that look like, Colorado?
All right, guys, so let's dive into kind of an overview as far as what we're looking like as far as buying a new build or a pre-existing home. They both have pros and cons, and in certain markets, it makes more sense to go one way. In certain markets, sometimes it makes more sense to go another way.
And also, yeah, and he's going to talk specifically to market and what it looks like right now, and maybe why, you know, the market is the way it is, what that looks like for you as far as inventory and things like that. But in addition to market, it's also going to come down to just some benefits that you might have, right? So pre-existing homes, just for example, just to get us started here. So a lot of your pre-existing homes might be closer to like the heart of Denver, right? So proximity and location-wise, obviously the closer you are to Denver, the more space has already been taken up by existing homes. Yes, you do have some scrapes and some new builds here and there, but as far as like in the heart of these pockets, not very many. However, your new build's gonna be a little bit further out on the outskirts as far as like what's the newest that's being developed around Denver, Colorado. With that being said, is Colorado's done a great job as far as like making these utopias. So if you're out in Southeast Aurora, you've got Southlands Mall, you've got huge organic grocery stores like Whole Foods, you've got the organic style King Supers, you've got a ton of really competitive high schools in academics and athletics. So even though you're not as close to Denver, what you do have in those locations are super phenomenal. Believe it or not, some people prefer those. So just to get some context as far as what we mean by existing or new build, it kind of gets depicted by that. In addition to, I'm just going to throw this out there and just hog the video, a lot of your new builds, and we'll cover this here in a few minutes, but they come with warranties. And there's some things that you're going to want to know about that. Depending on where you do live in Colorado, there are some places that get a little bit worse than others as far as foundation or quality of home, depending on how old they are. New builds, a lot of benefit there. But I digress. We'll get it back to this smart guy.
So it is going to come down to the certain market, but then more importantly, your guys' specific situation and your guys' wants and needs. And that's ultimately what's going to be the deciding factor. So like Will mentioned about Denver, that's a really good point, because if your guys' primary focus is being as close to Denver as possible, then you're probably not going to find a new build. And the new builds that we're referencing today, just for a point of reference for you guys, what we mean by that, we're meaning your typical big builder. We're not talking about your custom or semi-custom builder where you can buy a lot or buy a scrape and have a builder build you a house specifically on that lot.
We do have resources for that.
We
so
do,
if that is
yes.
something that's for you, we've got a couple of friends that do that. Would love to hook you guys up if you're looking at a specific lot and having something built from scratch, or if it's a scrape, demo, and build, whatever that looks like. If that is something for you, let us know. Please be expected for like that 9 to 12 month timeline for something like that to occur. However, still a possibility.
So for the sake of this video, we are talking to your big name builders, and I won't rattle off any brands or anything.
TriPoint, Lennar, Shea.
Yeah, D.R. Horton, Lennar, Meritage, all those guys, the big
Toll
builders.
Brothers.
You
Toll
guys
Brothers.
know them.
Good one.
Toll Brothers, South Shore. Yep. So let's start off, guys, talking pricing. So, and let's just compare new build versus pre-existing pricing. So, pros and cons to each. One of the biggest things that you're going to face in this market with a pre-existing home is multiple offers going drastically over asking price. But ultimately, guys, in Colorado and just sales in general, something is worth what someone is willing to pay for it, right? So
Market is what market is.
Market is what market is. If you have 30 people saying a house is worth $650, even though it was only listed at $575, market's determined the house is worth $650.
Well, and in addition to that, if people decide to go over asking price, and let's say a home was on the market for $700, they decided to offer at $750, but they're prepared to pay that gap. Doesn't matter if it doesn't appraise at $750 or not. They're going to pay the difference between that $700 and that $750. And a lot of folks, because of the market here and how vast it is in Colorado, they're willing to do that, right? So that's something that you do have to be expected. So there is, I guess, a markup there because of market. We're going to get into markup on how new builds have markup. A little different approach, but they do always appraise. However, well, not always, but I've never seen a new build not appraise.
Mostly, yeah.
We'll leave it at that. I hate using words always and never, but I've never seen it happen. But there is some unexpected with new builds. But that's a hard part about the existing homes is the market. Like, you just never know what you're in it for on an offer. You do want to put your best foot forward. However, you just never know who else is doing what and how much higher are they going over. And you might not know quite how high you have to go into something in order to win that offer. So be prepared, be expected for some of those conversations.
Yeah, so even though there is still, a ton of competition on pre-existing homes, you're not going to see as much competition on new builds. Now, there's two types of new builds that you're going to find available. One is a dirt start, they'll call it, to where they haven't even broken ground yet. And the other one is a inventory or quick move-in home, and that's where a builder is just, they know what buyers like, so they're building stuff out to specs.
Homes.
Yep, and then and they're putting in the gray walls and the white baseboards and the granite countertops for the most part. They know what buyers are looking for. So if those quick move-in homes are available and the builder says they're available, that's a fixed price. Generally, the lot is included in that as well.
All of it.
So there's no competition. If you're there,
there's also no changes, though. Not to cut you off.
There's no changes.
There's also no changes. So part of the benefit with new builds is you get to go to the design center and do some cool stuff there and pick some things out. All of that stuff has to be permitted and approved by city and by code and all that. So if they are building a spec home because they're just projecting the inventory they need for everybody moving to Colorado, and they have a couple that are built in advance, whatever those are having, they're having. There isn't an ability to change. However, with spec homes, they tend to go with whatever is the most popular. So the likelihood of you not liking it, probably not. And if you ever want to just make a couple of changes once you're moved in, sometimes more than worth it, depending on your timeline and how soon you have to move to Colorado, that could be a great fit for you.
It is. So, guys, if you're shopping for a pre-existing home, it might take a few tries before you finally get the offer that lands, right? If you're shopping for a new build home, if there's a quick move-in that you're interested in, man, that could be locked up and then closed in 30 days or 2 months, depending on how soon they are to being finished with that house. If it's a dirt start, like Will said earlier, that's 9 to 12 months out. So that's where it comes down to your guys' wants and needs and your specific preferences. If timing is a factor, that may help kind of weigh your decision on which way you go.
Right. Now, some of the unexpected as far as like price-wise, when we talked about the unexpected on existing homes and how they go for over asking price and how competitive that gets, and there's just some things to be prepared there. When you guys are looking at new builds without us, please understand that lot premiums are there. And so when you're looking at things online, it says, oh, hey, these start in the 500s. It doesn't include the lot premium, depending on like if you have a mountain facing or just a lot in general. That lot might be $100,000, might be $33,000, depends on where that lot is in that neighborhood and why they're charging that. So like a cul-de-sac is going to cost more. If it faces and has a mountain view, it's going to have more. Some things like that. But the bottom line is what you're looking at online when it says it's, oh, hey, it starts in the 500s or low 500s. Typically, it's not the lot premium that's being mentioned or your design center and all the upgrades that you choose to have. And some things are upgrades without you even realizing it, right? So now, no matter what, everything that encompasses that we're talking about will be financed within the loan and it will appraise, but just be prepared for usually $85 to $115,000, $130,000 higher than what they're saying something starts at when all said and done. And it's not because they're trying to rip you off. There's just certain phases to things and how to look at it. Some builders are a little bit more simplistic than others. The bottom line is, no matter what, you want representation. It's not just with existing homes that have inspections and that have things you want to find and have good representation from a buyer agent. Even on new builds, guys, we've had new builds that have had 40-page inspection reports and had to have some things that were fixed prior to closing. It's just important. So whether it's brand new or not, you want to make sure that things are adequate and appropriate. And part of understanding some things is us going to the design center with you guys, us helping you guys figure out what's an upgrade and what's not an upgrade, what comes standard in certain homes. So having that representation and having folks that are savvy with new builds and in addition to that existing builds, it's just super important, and it helps it keep as streamlined as possible with you guys moving here.
All right, so when we're going under contract on a pre-existing home, we have what's called an inspection period. This is where you guys can hire an inspector. We've got great ones that we can recommend for you, but they go through that house and they're basically looking at anything, top, bottom, inside, outside, that could potentially be wrong with that property, right?
Correct.
That's our part to do due diligence on a pre-existing home. After we ask for repairs, seller does repairs, we move on. It's pretty much said and done. There's no warranties per se on a pre-existing house.
If they have like brand new appliances, or if they have appliances that are recently new within the last year or so, they might have warranties. Sometimes sellers, if they have some aged appliances, that they feel, might need some work done in the future, they can offer you a home warranty, which will cover some of that, but nothing comes standard as far as warranties.
Yeah, and that's one of our favorite things about a new build is you get all sorts of warranties that go along with that. So every builder's a little bit different.
The appliances.
Yeah,
don't leave them hanging. The appliances, your structure, your foundation, a lot of those.
Yeah, every builder's a little different, guys, but for the most part, you'll have a first-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. There's natural settling and stuff that's
for the first-time home buyers out there.
Yes.
Porch-to-porch warranty.
Porch-to-porch.
There are no
Ooh,
bumpers
like
on your house.
I like that.
We're gonna call it porch-to-porch.
I like that. So there's a lot of natural settling that happens, with new dirt and a new development. So naturally, there's going to be some fine hairline cracks in drywall and stuff. That's what that thing is for. And then you're going to have a couple years on your major mechanicals. So your water heater, your furnace, things of that nature. And then typically a 10-year structural warranty.
Yep.
So if there's any major structural damage or anything like that that occurs from an unusual amount of settling that occurs, that's covered typically up to 10 years.
Correct. And just for myself, being a little bit partial, just seeing how this market looks in Colorado, watching some of our buyers, what they go through when it comes to existing and new build. The reason why we love new builds so much, especially for right now in this market and how busy it is even though some of these areas are somewhat on the outskirts of Denver, they are very rapidly becoming the heart of Denver and the place to be. Southeast Aurora with Talon's Reach, South Shore, you've got some great spots in Parker. A lot of these places, there's already high demand where some of these new builds within the first year of being built already have $40,000 of equity. So don't think that buying a new build is not gonna have equity. It's all size, condition, location, and demand of home, and a lot of these just have a lot of high demand. The community rec centers and pools are phenomenal. Yeah. The schools where these homes are going at are phenomenal. So yes, within the first couple of years, especially with how fast Colorado's growing, yes, you can have equity in these homes just like you could in an existing area. But what I do like as well is they're keeping up with the inventory. You're not having to compete against all of these certain homes. Like, on the existing, some of the better lots might have a little bit more high demand to it, but not even close to what some of these existing homes are, but you can still get the same amount of equity you can on a new build. So it's just food for thought and understanding, like, hey, especially when I first moved to Colorado, do I need to have that perfect location, perfect spot, or do I need to get my foot in the door, get established, get settled in Colorado with where I can afford or where the demand allows me to live, make the equity on that home for the first couple of years, and then upgrade and move into some different areas that you think you may like, because obviously if you're new to Colorado, you're not going to really know everything about it until you're here for a couple of years. So there might be some other places where you choose to live. Why not make some equity along the way? And don't beat yourself up over some of these hard areas that are just super established and really hard to get into. Make your money where you can. Money's money. Good business decisions. Put that business hat on when it comes to your real estate and just really ask the right questions and navigate some of this process, but it could be a great fit for you. So definitely, as I always say, with new builds or with anything else, turn that stone, see what it looks like before you make a different decision.
Turn that stone for sure, and do your due diligence. And that's part of talking to Will and Eli. And one of the biggest things that we hear from some people that are just not into new builds at all. So this would be, I would say, one of the biggest cons that we hear is that when people are dead set on having a mature, established neighborhood, mature, established schools, they want big mature trees, they want bigger lot sizes, they don't want anyone right behind them. In new build communities, obviously that builder buys a plot of land, they're trying to maximize their dollar amount and get everybody in there not as tight as they can, but if you have a big lot, you're paying a high premium for it.
And they still have like that Colorado feel. So a lot of these builders out here, they aren't just shoving everybody together. Some of them do have it like that. Again, we're getting way too long in that aspect. You just got to come out and see some of the new builds that are available. There are some neighborhoods, whether they're brand new or a couple of years old, that have great parks, great hills and trees and landscape that still give you that feel of the Colorado experience. So again, turning the stone and just finding out for yourself. But if you're new to Colorado, I would recommend don't have a hard no on anything until you get out here and just make these decisions. Just make sure you've got the right representation and people committed to backing you and being a great team and representative and helping you turn these stones and ask the right questions and get yourself in the right spot.
Well, and that's one of the things we do with you guys. We're very big on advising our clients. So whenever you reach out to us, typically we're setting up a Zoom call and we're going over those wants and needs. And sometimes you do bring something up like, hey, I don't want to have anyone directly behind me. Hey, I do want a mature neighborhood. And you know what? We're going to listen to you for sure, but we're also still going to keep all options on the table because not all new builds have a neighbor directly behind you. A lot of them do back to open space.
There's just more than you think.
There's a lot more than you think.
There's different options and there's more than you think. And unless you're standing and feeling a certain lot, it's really hard to be subjective and make a decision. Hence why it's just so important to come out and just, again, ask the right questions, have the right type of representation that can help ask the right questions and get you guys in the right spot.
And to summarize, so
he's always trying to get to us.
To summarize, I am. So we've talked pricing and competition. We've talked home warranties and home inspections and all that stuff. We've talked lot sizes and just some of those pros and cons to new build versus pre-existing. The final thing is another question that we get is, hey, can I use a realtor when I'm buying a new build?
Yes.
100% yes.
1,000%.
1,000% yes. So
Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus, that hurts.
You can use an agent when buying a new build. You still, guys, we've had new builds not complete sewer lines.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Things slip through the cracks sometimes, whether it's brand new or it's existing. Yes, you want representation.
It does, and we don't cost you any more money. The builder pays us directly, and no, if you don't use a realtor, you don't get a discount.
No.
Builders never reduce the price of their home because things won't appraise that way. They need things to keep appraising. So it's something that's built into their budget to pay agents. So
and guys, they want that. If you've ever met developers, like they want buyers to be educated and understand the process in addition to what they can brief you guys on, just so you're educated because it goes a lot more smooth with them. So there is no shying away or developers not enjoying their relationship with brokers that bring them buyers because there's education and representation there that actually makes it a lot more frictionless for them. So contrary to popular belief, absolutely you can.
So those are our main points to buying a new build home versus a pre-existing home. But as always, comment below if you guys have any questions. Shoot us a text, shoot us an email. We're happy to dive deeper into any of these other questions that you may have.
And because we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, of course, we would love to help you with your real estate needs as much as we love making these videos. So that number that popped up below, we are the guys to answer the phone, respond to text messages, and respond to emails to that email as well. So until next time, that's about all we have for you, unless you got something else you want to one-up me with.
I'm trying to think of another Anchorman quote right now, but I'm sure you got it.
When he's like, stay classy, San Diego, and then she's like, remember the chick? You're definitely the chick. When she's like, goodbye, San Diego. Stay classy, San Diego.
You stay classy, San Diego.
And thanks for stopping by.
But mainly, stay classy.
Is that Veronica Corningstone?
Yep.
I am 100% Miss Corningstone.
1,000%. 1,000%. Until next time. Until next time.
There we go.
See, he's
Maybe
got
I
me
should
all
say it.
flustered. Listen, until next time, have a great day. Have a great week. We look forward to seeing you guys soon, and we look forward to helping you guys with your needs.
See you guys.